guys, welcome back to the channel. Right here, 47 Ford. We're back on the revival. Or we're hopefully going to finish up the revival with this episode. We only got a couple things left. Fuel float came in. I got to get that into the tank. Get it off the rack. Push it forward. That was the big push to get the fuel system in. Last episode, if you watched it, just so I can get this thing off the rack. I did mount the wheel or the tires on the wheels off camera. I wish I did record that just due to the fact that it would have been an episode in itself. The most miserable rims I've ever had to mount tires on. And it wasn't the tires, it's just the way the barrel's made. It's just annoying. Yeah, not happy about it. But this episode, fuel sender, I got to check somehow sausage my way in there. It's kind of an episode I've been regretting or dreading, not regretting. I have to figure out how to get to that master cylinder, check the level. So do that and then open up the doors to see if I can get these windows to work any better. The rears are supposed to roll down. Talk to the owner, he's not concerned about them. For me to even do the rears, I'm gonna have to strip the interior to get those panels off. So, like I said, the car I think is going up for sale. New owner can sort that out themselves. I guess is what I'm getting at. Or they can bring it back here if they're local, and I can sort it out. But anyway, let's start at the easiest thing. And I said this with the gas tank. It did not work out in my favor. We're gonna put the float in the car. Yes. Join me somewhere so we can start modifying this thing. Old float, boop, boop, boop. New float. I have to make this float look like this float. They are adjustable. I'm gonna have to trim some stuff. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, this is trimmed. So all I'm gonna do is mimic them. They're they're straightforward to do. I say that as it doesn't want to loosen. They're straightforward. Loosen your screws, slide. Like I said, I'm going to have to cut this all apart and make it as short as possible to fit into that tank. So give me a quick minute, maybe clean my lens with a dirty rags, maybe get some of this glare off. It's also cold here, so it can just be my camera fogging up. Seems better. So yeah, like I said, let me just modify this thing a little bit, and we're just gonna make it exactly like this one. Shorten working versus, shorten working versus shorten no worky. Plan. I'll be right back. Float's modified. I threw it into the old tank just to make sure that I didn't have to cut the bottom off, and I don't. So let's figure out how to get this thing in. Good thing we replaced the tank, so I know what's under here, or at least I know I can get to the float from under here. Let's put it where I can lose it, like normal. And then as long as the amount of crap I can build up in the back of a car. As long as I can remember how to use words. No, as long as when we plug this float in, I can dry cycle it, so that's a good thing. Just make sure I picked out the right ohmage. But as long as when we drop this thing in, like I said, there's about 2 gallons of gas in this tank. As long as when we drop it in, it reads empty or close to it. I'm not gonna have to pull it out again. Only reason I'd have to pull it out again is if it's like reading a half a tank. Because, well, that's terrible. But as long as it's reading empty with fuel in the tank, that's a win. Like I said, I just mimicked whatever the other one was. So if it was reading basically the same as we are now, this one will read the exact same. Oh, come on, battery. Battery charger. In other words, I'm doing apples to apples, or bananas to, kiwis. Battery tray. Ugh. Oh, another dead Optima. I have a collection of dead Optimas. And I'm not even kidding. Gas cap. Just set that back there. Velcro, I like it. Even though the Velcro's unvelcroing. Oh boy. Oh, there's cutouts. Someone engineered something. All right, it looks like a 13. I have a 9/16, so let's see if I was right on 13. Yes. Half inch, what have you. Don't I have one up here? I guess not. Very interesting. Before I get committed. Smaller than a 13. Did I grab a 13? I did. 7/16? We have a 12 millimeter that sort of fits. It is American, but well, if it fits, it ships. Like I said, I'm not really getting too... We have the access panel down here. Not really going too in depth on doing this, just due to the fact that, well, your Ford is probably different than my Ford. Because street rod. All right, perfect. Tank access, nice. Float. Screws and a driver. Gasket's already on here. Already on here. And it is like a Volkswagen to where one hole is slightly screwed up. The float ball doesn't fit. What the hell? Oh, I can get it in, but I don't know if I'll be able to get it back out. Why would they sell a universal float that is the exact size of the hole for the tank? So I'm not trying to break a sender. Let's take the sender out, or take the ball off the sender. And I might actually have to trim this bracket down. I can't even get this off. There we go. Yeah, all right, the ball will fit. So how would be the best way? We don't want it like that. We want it like this. Words are hard. All right, I gotta cut the bottom of this bracket off so I can hopefully have enough finagle room, because I'm hitting two things at once in that tiny hole. Be right back. All right, hopefully by cutting that tab off, I'm gonna have rotation room. Kinda. It's better. If this ball was, I don't know, slightly less bulbous. Oh, it went in. And I didn't even force it that bad. By that bad, I mean really at all. All right, center's down. Trying to align these damn holes 5 or 7 times and be like, there's only 5 combinations. How can I not get this thing to freaking align? Is that one it? That one looks like it's it. That's a line. Hey, light. I have to see what the hell I'm doing. In here, on here. Just for that. So I can test this. And make sure we have a, functional fuel gauge. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm messing around in here. There's no crazy science going on. It's just me stuck with my thoughts. Ground. Whoa. Lock washer. Snug that. Snug on that. Ah, man, I gotta put a battery back in this thing. Whatever, this one works. I know this one works. Hand tighten should be good enough to fire this thing up. Kick the car on. Open the door. Oh, I'm stuck. Fuel gauge do anything? Let's see. Turn the key. We're reading E. Went right to E. That is perfect. All right. I'm stuck. I'm real stuck. I'm out. Don't worry, guys. All right. Fuel gauge went right to E. So we know that we have about 2 gallons of gas in this thing, and it goes to E. Let me put more gallons of gas in this thing. I'll put 5 in and see if that thing goes. But yeah, once I turned it on, it went straight to E, held there. So there's a gallon, maybe a gallon and a half in this thing. I could screw it to float, pull that thing back up, and actually drop that rod so it reads the exact bottom. But you know what? At the end of the day, rather have some reserve. Now, if this thing doesn't move by me putting 5 gallons in, we have a bigger problem. Give me a second. All right, guys, I got probably 3 gallons in this thing, if that. Where are we? Yeah, we're floating right around here, so that's 4 gallons are in the car. And I know you got a great angle in my head, but the fuel gauge, boop, reads slightly above E. So, first time I'm checking it, I don't know how much I don't know if I was right at the line to where, say, whatever was left in the tank from running it is the reserve, or if we still have like 2 gallons, because I don't know how much was actually in here to begin with. Because like I said, I think I put 2 gallons in the tank, or roughly, and then I just put 2 in, so there's 4 gallons in this thing, and that gets it right above E. So if you're right above E, you have about 4 gallons left. I got this 5, and then I have another 5 I'm going to dump in, and we'll see what we're reading. Because I'm going to ignore the original gas that's in here for that float level, and I'm just going to go on whatever we have now. So 5 gallons. Because I also don't know how big this tank is. I just ordered one. I didn't pay attention to gallon capacity or anything like that. 5. What do we got? We have a known 5 gallons in the tank. Still a little above E. Okay. Let's put 10 in and see where that gets us. So that has to be like a 20-gallon tank, I'm assuming. Just looking at it. So if we have 5, that should get us to at least a quarter, but it didn't really move on the gauge. Interesting. I don't think that float can hit anything. Let's see. Horoscope, where'd I throw you? You in the car? Boop, boop. I just want to see if that float's getting triggered. Well, I get to navigate in fuel because there's a baffle between me and mean, the inside of the tank looks delightful. I'm trying to get through one of these portholes. Reposition. Okay. Anyway, I saw the float. The problem I'm seeing right now is the float is not doing that thing. Let's put this somewhere so it can drain. All right, I'm going to pull the float out. Yeah, I'm going to pull the float out. Ah, damn it. Every time. At least I was a cheek this time. I'm going to pull the float out and trim off the excess of that bar that's on there. Hopefully that'll give it more buoyancy. But yeah, it's just, it's not floating currently. It's still stuck down. So I'll be back. All right, guys, I think the float was floating. It's just, like I said, hard angle. But right now, this float should be at E. It's all the way down. I'm going to move it, I don't know, half-ish way currently. The gauge is reading about a quarter. So it is working. It's just, I don't know, weird. If I move it up to, say, fullish, it needs a lot of stroke. There, we're fullish. So I'm going to have to screw around with that rod. Basically, I'm going to extend it more and droop it down so that we can get a, I'd say a correct arc on it so that we can read this thing more accurately. These, I'm down here. Universal gauges are cool and all, mainly because, well, universal. The problem that happens with them is, well, just this. You have to screw around with them to get them to, say, work. All right, I just put a little hook in this thing so that this should probe down deeper. In theory, like I said, we have 5 gallons in this tank. If it's not reading till about there, now this angle should be reading, say, correctly. Much like Volkswagen's, these tabs should be for bendy purposes. But empty's empty, full's full kind of thing. I'm not going to bend them to ohm them out. I'm just going to do this. Because, yeah, horizontal, let's double check it. Horizontal should be reading something. Like I said, there's 5 gallons in this thing. Nope, that's about half. I might take some bend out of it. That's about quarter-ish. Yeah, let's say that, if that's at the bottom, right now on that tab. All right, right now that tank's only gonna ever show quarter of a tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate, because this bend is a quarter. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bend it to where I can get this gauge to read empty. That's on the stop. Let's see what happens. Reading high. I get some normal pliers, which I severely have no idea where any of them are. There they are. Normal twisted pliers. Bend that slightly down. That's on the stop. Let's see if that gauge reads E. A little bit more down. And we're back to square one where it doesn't move the gauge. What is going on? Am I fighting a bad gauge? Move it to that black dot. What are we reading here? All right, that's almost a quarter. So if that's almost a quarter, see if that's E. Nope, still high. This is going to take forever. All right, guys, float's moving. It's not the most accurate. We know that it's at least going to read E when that thing goes down. So that's the positive. Right now, it's saying it's a half tank. I don't know. Could be one of those gas gauges that are very optimistic. So once it gets above full, it's going to take forever to get to half. But we know E is going to be possibly E. Right now, we know 5 to 7 gallons is half a tank. So if you get to half a tank, you got 5 to 7 gallons in here. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that makes sense. So, yeah. I mean, it should sort of math out, I would think. I don't know. Sweeps are weird. Let me dump some more gas in this thing. A little over 10 gallons in this thing. It's reading about 3/4 of a tank currently, which is fine. Like I said, half tank. And I did check it when I put another 2 gallons in, it still sat at half. So, I mean, I don't know. Put it this way, that fuel float, it's correct dosage, obviously, because it's working, it's reading. That fuel float cannot be any more accurate than this one. If anything, this one's more accurate than that one. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. They'd be reading the same, so as weird as they are. If anything, yeah, the only other thing I can do is throw in a really, really, really long sweeper arm to lessen the fuel saying amount. Give it basically it's a slower run versus a jittier run. But like I said, I just mimicked what's in here. However this one's reading is however that one would have read. And I took the, somewhat steps of trying to calibrate it. There's the nut. I was looking for where like I think I said, this thing has air shocks in the back. I followed the thing. I was wondering where the nipple is. It's back here. Well, I knew it was back here. It's just I didn't know where back here it is. It's not like in an easily accessible area, I guess is where I'm getting at. I got to swap that battery out again. Choose the battery that's supposed to be in this car. But let me get all this stuff back here done. And Let me get it off the lift. And we will, proceed to do what? I'm just gonna go. I thought this was gonna be the easy thing. It was, sort of. But I'm going to try to crawl my way under the dash and do that. So let me get back here all buttoned up and join me figuring out how to do a master cylinder. Good thing I have that borescope drying. Well, I'm back. Check the fuel gauge again, and well, I swear I tightened the jam nut, but I guess I didn't, or it wasn't tight enough, because, well, sure enough, this float, because there's a curve in it, rotated up, and it was showing full. So I get to do this all over again. Not a big deal. Hey, maybe we can show less than 3/4, because this thing was probably rotating up in there and giving a different level. So, like I said, I did Google the thing. Beep. It's a 17-gallon tank. So this should be showing, if it's correct, well, like I said, the gauge is correct, or the float's correct to the gauge. But if they're talking correctly, this should be showing, I'd say, because we got 10 true gallons in there, plus whatever I put in, we should be showing between 1/2 and 3/4. If I bolt this thing back together, tighten everything, and we show 1/2 to 3/4, I know that we're right in the ballpark of where this thing actually should live. So let me do this and I'll be right back. All right, guys, car's on the ground. Looks cool. I gotta put the center caps back on this thing. I have not. What I'm gonna do, we're gonna roll it forward so I can get these doors open and lay in this thing nice and proper like. Hopefully not hit my Corvette. I don't think I have anything in front of me, do I? No. Good thing is, I hopefully don't need anything or too many things out of my toolbox to do this. Just keep pushing from the back. That should be good. Oh, and the tank right now is reading what I would say correctly. Here, I'll just show you. I did simple math. It's a 17-gallon tank. We have a little over, hold on, brain. All right, 17-gallon tank. We have a little bit over, say, 11 or 12 gallons in there. So if we run it on the force, 4 gallons, well, 4 1/4 would be quarter tank, 8 1/2 would be 1/2 a tank, and then 12 3/4 would be 3/4 of a tank. So seeing how we have 12 gallons in here, we are, or thereabouts, I'm guesstimating I only put about 2 in here. Fuel gauge currently is, I don't know if you can tell, reading right under 3/4 of a tank. So it's going to read empty. It's going to read full. It's, well, all intents and purposes, going to read, that's stainless. Ooh, that's metal. It's going to read correctly. Now, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, because I have to get up under here, because I set it, where's that light? There we go. I set it in my, turn off the car. The master, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It is right there. Yeah, up here. And on top of that master cylinder, there's a plug. I have to figure out how to sausage my way in there, get to that plug, turn the car off, put it back in park. Sausage my way in there, get to the plug, and get the borescope up in there to see what the fluid level is. And then figure out how to said drain it. This dash looks like it is kind of removable, but there's a lot of stuff that has to be removed, not to mention the steering column, and we're not doing that. Ideally, I want to get the top off the master. Like I said, I already had the borescope up in there. I want to get the top off the master and just probe in there and see what we have or what we need to add. I'm not going to go nuts just due to the fact that if there is fluid, we're fine, because the car only has 4,600 miles on it. I'm not too worried about, say, disc brakes, as far as if we do it the brake, if they pads get swapped. My concern is I don't want to overfill the master, but knowing that power booster was leaking, I don't know what's actually in the system. Hope any of that made sense. So let me figure out what I'm going to do. I'm probably not going to record this just because I don't know how, and you're just going to see my butt and legs dangling for the most part. So I'll give you highlights, I guess, is what I'm getting at. But yeah, let me get my borescope and see what I got going on. The smart thing they could have done, I'm assuming someone else put this master in. It wasn't designed for the car, because if you noticed under the hood there's a 2-pot. So I'm thinking this thing had manual brakes at one time, and it was non-powered. This was an aftermarket add-on, custom stuff, because it is just not serviceable. Ideally, if I was to build the car, I would be because it's right behind the gauges, I would make it so that one of these gauges was able to come out. And oh wait, maybe. Woohoo! Big brain move. You can tell I didn't check it. I was gonna say I'd make it so a gauge would come out so that I can get my fat hands in there. Maybe they all come out. All right, what does this get me? Absolutely nothing. Where are you? I got a duct in the way. All right. So these are just set in there. Just gently put that back. Really I got to get one of the bigger ones out. Damn it. You're not dead, are you? No. That's aluminum. It's metal. Ooh, there's... Yeah, I think I was screwing around with this one before the voltmeter, and I couldn't get it to do anything. So I didn't even try the speedometer. This one, because if I remember, it's like right behind here. If I get one of these out, it'd be great for filling. Just not to get anything else out. All right, let me do some rooting around. I'll be right back. All right, real quick, because I'm not going to be able to snake you in here. That plug is what I'm trying to go for. On top of the master. So if I can snake my hand all the way up there, I should be able to get a wrench. Should be able to get a wrench. What it looks like is someone has pipe, whatever, sealing Teflon tape around it. And it's just a brass fitting, an MPT fitting. So let me snake my way in there and figure it out. And then filling it is going to be, like I said, I'll reprobe it to see what we got in there. And, well, figure it out from there. But ideally, gonna probe it. Hopefully it's gonna be full enough. If not, I'll fill up a syringe, snake a syringe in, fill that up, and we'll be good. Like I said, since fixing that brake line, I have not hit the brakes, so I don't know what we actually have in the system. I don't want to introduce air. So let me do that. Hopefully it's a standard 15-ish. I think I have a shorty or 9/16, and I should be able to get that nut out. I'll be back with more investigative reporting. All right, good news. It was the plug, but the plug is a thing. Also, someone had a tough time getting it out because, well, smacking the crap out of it. Anywho's, you had all that done. Why wouldn't you run a remote line, I guess is what I'm getting at. You have them in the firewall. All right, you'll see the pleasure of me doing whatever the hell I was doing before. Like I said, I'm just looking to see if we have fluid in this thing. Yes, I know. More than awesomeness. Yeah, and just as I suspected, we're not bone dry, but we're probably halfway down. This is why I wanted to check it, though. It looks like it's a lot further down than it actually is. As soon as I curl my finger basically into the top, yeah. As soon as I curl my finger into the top, it picks up fluid. I'm pretty sure that's .6 though. 5. I'm saying 6. 5 is purple. It's synthetic. I'll just stick this in here, give it a little bit of a, and get some fluid out of it. Like I said, I just want to confirm, but we're right where I know we should be. This may seem like a lot of extra diagnostic I'm doing, but you know what? It's easier to do this now. Also, let the owner know what he has. You might not be able to tell. This is a bunch of you might not be able to tell stuff. Let's see. Just trust me, it's in here. I don't know if you can tell that color that comes out or is coming out, but that's clear. Clear is 6. Well, clear on that 6. You couldn't see it in the tube. I don't recommend this. You can't, here's the big thing. You can't mix 3, 4, and 5. If you do, bad things happen. You gel up the system. You could basically you'd be screwing yourself over. And that, I don't know, it won't pick up on camera. That's more amber. So definitely synthetic in here. Which, the way that the car is built, I wouldn't put it past it, I guess is what I'm getting at. All right. I'm gonna get the lid back on. We know that's good. And yeah, keep it on. Tear the door apart. But like I said, I'm happy I did the check. I'm happy we have fluid. If it came out differently, well, if it came out that it was empty, we'd have more problems. But it's not, so we're good. Let me get that, like I said, let me get this plug buttoned up, and I'll be right back. I really want to draw more out of it, but I mean, it's clear, it's good, everything's fine, so be back. Pretty sure I just lost what I was going to say. .5, because you know I can't leave stuff alone. The master's filled, but probing it or looking at it again, there's like an offshoot, like slit, which I think feeds the power booster, the hydro boost, whatever you want to call it, the electro hydro boost. The fluid level's below that. I'm thinking that because, well, I replaced that line, and I don't think there was enough fluid because it was leaking anyway. I don't think there was enough fluid above there to fill that. Plus, replacing that length of line is a good, whatever, like 2.5 foot line, 3/8 diameter. I'm almost certain it's dry. So I'm just gonna play it safe, fill the master. I mean, I got access, it's still open. Fill the master just to be on the safe side, to where that level's even to that weird window. If I can get a good shot on it or record it, I'll show you what I'm talking about in there. But like I said, this is just more or less for my own mental health to know that I didn't say that they're good and they're not. And yes, not 5, it's purple. You might be able to see it's purple. So this is the correct fluid that's in there. Like I said, I'm just going to add it, say as needed, to where I'm happy with it, and I'm not going to like give back something that can potentially screw up. And it really shouldn't take that much, but I only want to get in there once. I feel like a doctor. $60 milliliters. Stat. All right, I'm actually happy I'm doing this because, well, I just pushed 60 in that master, and well, let's just say it wants more. It's moving. Well, the fluid level came up, and like I sort of suspected, it stagnated. So it's maintaining a level when it gets to that weird door or window is kind of the only thing I can assume. So yeah, let's dump another 60 in. Really, really happy I checked this because it just took another 60. So I'm going to keep doing this till the level equalizes and stops going. Like I said, I think it's filling up that power booster. It's the only place it can be going. All right, guys. It's full. It took the entire bottle, so 11 fluid ounces. It can use some more. I will get some more, but all intents and purposes, I was right. That window was, you can watch it every time the power booster kicks on, suck in. So I'm happy I did do this before we like burnt up a unit or something like that. With that said, well, let's see if this thing moves. Throw the air filter on. That's on. Well, there's no real way to test this other than just testing this. It'd be better if it was a manual, but it's an automatic. So we'll find out pretty much immediately if I screwed anything up or not. Flashlight. Yeah, it works that. All right. Door shut. Can't see nothing. Should have cleaned the windows. We in park, we're in park. Fire in the hole. Brakes, reverse. Well, she's in reverse, and I hear the power booster. We're doing something. Forward. Park. Yeah, I don't know why the interior lights don't turn off. I also don't know where the squat switch is for these things to turn them off. Yeah, no idea. Yeah, like I said, window does work. I might not even open it up. Had to touch it because now the passenger side's stuck. That's the switch. I got no up on the passenger side. Driver's side works. I can roll the passenger down. I just can't roll the passenger up. Yeah, and it's working fine. Yeah, this switch box is kind of screwed up. That tick went away. I guess cold-natured. 14-volt charging. Everything seems legit. Yeah, I think this switch panel's screwed up. Yeah, car sounds really good. This is kind of why I don't like some custom stuff. Here's the connectors. It's all been glued together. But we got corrosion on all these things. Like I said, I got driver works. I can roll passenger down. I can't roll passenger up. And the rears, they're not doing nothing. Fortunately, this one is sort of down, so I might have to try to get it up, but I don't want to really screw it too much, because the problem is if I get it to go down, like if I play with the switch and I get it to go down, well, there's another check. It also has to come up. Doesn't help that all the weather stripping is just like falling out of this thing. Which can be binding it. There it goes. It went up. I don't know if you saw it, but it did move. This stuff might have been holding it. Fortunately, I'm going to trim it just to get it out of the way. Does this do anything back here? I can roll this one down, sort of. It does not go back up. All right, I got up with the buttons, but I don't have up with the switch panel. So most likely all these contacts are screwed up. Is pretty much what I'm going with. All right, real quick, pull the switch off. It has the green death on it. So water's been getting in this door, so on and so forth. I'm gonna clean up these terminals, clean out the block, and well, see if maybe this will work again. Yeah, this switch box is pretty screwed up, and I do not, because like I said, I don't know what the hell it came out of. I do not want to take it apart, to try to clean stuff. All I can see is Execo. I'm not really sure. Can't make out any of these numbers. So I'm not even going to be able to say cross-reference it. But I'm going to look up, like I said, it looks Ford-ish. I know they use these cheap style switches. I'm going to do some research, see if I can find one or something close and throw it in. Yeah, it looks like Lincoln almost. All right, I'll be back. My GM knowledge failed me. Not going to lie. The switch, well, goes to like an 80 to 85 Chevy. So, Blazers, K-Series Suburbans, Oldsmobiles. Yeah, for some reason, this looked more Ford to me than GM. And I don't know why, because I've been in many 80s Blazers. Maybe because they were only two doors and I only recognized this. And, like, I'm used to seeing that or that. I don't know, I'm making excuses. It's a GM switch. I got one coming. It'll be here, hopefully soon. And put in. But this is going to be the issue. I'm going to still going to clean this thing up some, knowing that I have a replacement coming. And hopefully maybe get this one working, or we'll just replace it. But yeah, this is the problem. All right, guys, it is the next day. I lost the keys. I think they're up on the drip rail. Yep. All right, next day. I'm going to clean most of this stuff out of here. But I'm going to get this thing warmed up because it is chilly. And we'll take this thing out. Hopefully, it's going to cooperate nicely. I don't know if that picks up, but that's the brake booster. Should turn off. So we know we're building pressure. All right, fire this thing up. Neutral, neutral. Perfect. So gonna let it sit here and warm up. I'm gonna move my stuff and we'll get on the road. All right, guys, we are motoring along. I'm happy to clean the windows. Blinkers work. Like I said, we're just taking it out for a quick little, wake up run. Make sure everything's working. Transmission shifts. I don't know what, I know it's a Turbo 350. I don't know what kind of transmission's actually in it. I don't know if it's like a monster, if it has a race kit, so on and so forth. But that shifts. Brakes work. I think we had all three gears. Turbo 350s are weird because if they're built correctly, you never feel the shifts. I felt the 2-3 shift, or maybe the 3-4. Yeah, the 2-3 shift or 1-2 shift. So we're in one. That's two. Oh. Give me third. That's three. We got all three gears. Revs work. Speedo works. Gas gauge works. Well, it moves. Oil pressure's hanging around 60. I guess this car had a bunch of moisture in it because all these gauges are really hard to read. They're fogged on the inside, which sucks. Brakes are fine. It's funny that the blinker relay's in the back. I hear it clicking behind my head. But yeah, just want to get it, moving a little bit under its own steam. Wake up all the fluids. I'll check everything again. It rides pretty all right. I was thinking it was going to be a little rougher with these tires. It's not. Definitely looks like I'm driving a barn find. Because, well, if you watch this channel long enough, I don't clean cars. So other than the windows, because I need to see, the car literally looks like it just drug it out of a field. That 1-2 shift is pretty harsh. And you can really feel the in it. Fluid was fine when I checked it. It wasn't low. So, like I said, it could just be from sitting. It needs to not solenoids, valve body needs to wake up, so on and so forth. Nothing I'm concerned about. There's a weird rattle behind me. It idles nice. We're sitting at 100 and, I don't know, 65, maybe? We're under 170 as far as the gauge is concerned. And I do know just by running it, the gauge does go hot. Well, not hot, but it does read higher. Fan is off, so it's either working the way it should, or it's a cold day. It's like 40 degrees out. It's not needed. One thing I do want to check, we'll go to my favorite breakdown spot. Not because of breaking down. Hey, it's road closed. Nice. Not because of breaking down, but because of I need to check to see if the battery is coming loose, because it's just kind of sitting back there right now. I have to fabricate a tray for it. There we go. Yep. Yeah, these latches, if they're not pushed all the way in, they don't latch worth the crap. Yeah, temperatures, as we sat there, temperature went up. It's about 170 right now, which is still cool, obviously. Temp's good, fuel's good, oil pressure good. Oil pressure on idle's about 50. Battery didn't move. Like I said, I just have it in its little hole. If you watch the where it goes, or where it's supposed to live, it's just sitting back there. I got to extend the tray for a lockdown, but it's pretty wedged in there. Yeah, we're gonna check. I'm gonna check the shift juice. It's shifting fine. It's not like it's delayed or anything like that. It just has I think it just has to wake back up again. And then also, because I don't have a history of this car, I don't know what transmission's in it. I don't know anything about it. All I know is it's basically it's a 355 engine. It's a Vortec engine, or at least has Vortec heads on it. And it's a turbo 350 trans, so 3-speed. I run them in, it's one of my favorite transmissions, actually. I run it in my Oldsmobile. And that thing has, I don't know, like 50,000 miles on it. It's a low mileage car. And shifts seem like they're getting better, but it also could be like the placebo effect. Like most of, I think that trunk was unlatched. Not sure what stall converter's in this thing either. I mean, it feels like it has some giddy up. I'm not going to push the car. It does have good bits on it. Engine seems good, like timing, everything like that. Carburetor, that's all dialed. We looked at it in the first episode. I haven't, other than putting fuel to it, I haven't done anything to the carb. I tried to adjust it, and it did take, it's as adjusted as it can be. And I think I said it's a Edelbrock 600 CFM electronic choke. You know, this honestly is probably my favorite part of any video or any of the revivals. Actually, just jumping into these things and driving. Yeah, it's been a pain in the butt at some points. But you know what? You take the good, you take the bad, and you know, you call that the facts of automotive. You guys keep moving. Come on. I also have my battery on there. I have a mirror for this thing I gotta put on. It's not a race car, but it will move. You gotta think, this car actually isn't even that heavy. Everyone thinks old cars are heavy. This thing probably, I'd say, maybe minimum or maximum 4,000 pounds. Yeah, temperature's holding about 170, putzing around. I haven't had to kick the fan on yet, which is nice. Also, I don't know if there's a switch, or if that's like an override, or if there is an actual pressure or temperature switch to actually kick these fans on by themselves. But let's head back to the shop. So I put the damn center caps on. Again, also, I don't know if there's a shift kit in this thing to where it does have harsh shifts. That's the bad thing working on a lot of these cars, is you never know exactly what's in them because they don't come with build tags. And I think the owner said he had paperwork for us, but he moved, and well, since then it's gone, you know, or I can't find it. But anyway, join me in the big cam. All right, guys. Back in the shop, I'll tell you, one of the most nerve-wracking things I'm doing is backing this car in to its spot, or to a spot. That mirror's useless. This mirror's broken, and seeing out the back sucks. Can I get out of this thing? All right. Other thing I noticed, green light, it's on. For this, the fan. Doesn't mean anything to you, but when that light was on, the fan was running, so it does have a thermo override, so you don't have to touch it. Not really sure. Maybe it's backup or air. If you have the air conditioning on, you want to turn it on. But like I said, heat's working. I haven't froze my butt off. Is it the hottest? No, but I mean it's fine. Yeah, because we're sitting here, temps going down. I don't know what the cutoff is. Usually there's a high temp and a low temp before, kick on, kick off. Yeah, you can see it now. This light, I can't find a switch. The owner may remember if there's a dome light switch, but yeah, green light's off. That just turned off. I don't know if it picked up a mic, but the engine actually picked up idle. Yeah, usually this would be like, dome lights. That doesn't do shit. Turns on the headlights. Tachometer light isn't working. Red means high beams. High beams work. Yeah, tach doesn't work, and that's not the one I pulled out. So not sure on that one. Light wise. Yeah, and to get back behind there, I'm gonna do damage trying to get these things out. I don't know. All right, drive successful. It runs good. I'm gonna check the fluids. Hope that hood popped. Check the fluids. Make sure she's all good. Mainly transmission. The dipstick's a pain in the ass to get to. Good news, we don't have a leak or anything. All right. Let me check the fluids. And I'll report back on the big cam, close this episode out. But yeah, good, fun, decent, good and fun, successful test drive. Yeah, that fan's on auto because it's 195 now and it's off, and I did see that green light on. So at least if you're not a dumb, like I said, there's a switch, I can manually kick it on and cool the car myself. I guess it's an override. It's a smart idea. It works. So we're not gonna, not questioning it, obviously. Also good news, the thermostat works. Yeah, again, we're charging. Fuel gauge is doing fuel gauge stuff. About 50 PSI, the gauge kind of whatever's. Temps coming down. Yeah, all a great success, I guess. But let me check some fluids and I'll close this episode out. All right, guys, closing out the episode on 47. Test drive, successful. I did check the transmission fluid, nice and pink. There's no doubt that speedometer or the odometer that's in the thing is reading accurate. It's nice and pink, right to the full line. It's a nice low car. Dipstick, just pain in the butt to get to. Welding gloves, because it's right by the header. Good design choice. Anywho, run, drive, stop worked as intended. Found out that it does have an auto fan turn on, which is nice. I was curious about that. Also, I'm happy it has an auto fan turn on because really hard to see the gauges. You might be able to see in the fuel. I haven't edited this yet, but you might be able to see when I showed the fuel gauge how hazed over it is. It's not the outside, it's the inside. So there's been condensation in the car, I guess is what I'm getting at. So pretty much all those gauges, unfortunately, would have to be replaced because or sent out because I can't disassemble them and clean the lenses, which sucks because I know they're an expensive gauge set. But anywho, digressing, regressing. Car stopped fine. I'm still going to go back and just put, maybe just for my own mental stability, put more .5 in there, but it is above the level. It's above that line. They worked fine. There's no issues with the braking. It stops. I didn't get a panic stop in just because, well, there wasn't a need to. But driving is good. The engine is a solid performer. I think I said it's a 355. It has a 600 CFM carburetor on it. Headers, full stainless exhaust on it. Flowmasters maybe. And, well, they all jive and work well together. No backfires, no hesitation. Transmission, like I said, it does have a buck, but I don't know, other than it being a turbo 350, I don't know what how it's been built. I don't know if it's been built, I don't, it's not a manual valve body, obviously, because it shifts itself. But I don't know if it has a shift kit in it to where it does firmer shifts, or if it just needs to wake up. I mean, that's just nature of the beast with automatics. They're mystery boxes that just get shoved in, and magic happens when input and output. So the 9-inch sounded good. Don't know who makes it, but it's a 9-inch. It works well with the 350 and the three speeds, at least city driving. Don't know if the speedometer is accurate, but at 50, 55, it's stable. No whines, no groans, no nothing. Everything else, like I said, no issues. Didn't overheat, didn't break down. I just have a couple little odds and ends on my end to do. I got to glue a window in or a mirror in on that side because it fell out. Not by me, but it showed up falling out. And backing up's really a pain in the butt here because, well, you might have noticed the 4-post. I have to snake in under it. And that mirror doesn't adjust anymore to, see in, just on the way that they mounted it with body line. So I can't see really out that side, and it's just useless. Having that mirror would have been great. I don't know. These are just little picky things. Blinkers, headlights, brake lights, all that stuff works. So that's a good thing. What else? I don't know if the air conditioner works. Haven't even tried it. Haven't even tried to kick it on. I might do that. May record it, may not. For an odds and ends special, I guess. But really, it's just the final push just for the owner to come get it. Everything works. The wipers work. The car's a solid car. I'm leaving it dirty because, well, if you watch the channel long enough, you're lucky if I do windows. Yeah. Guess we're going to close out the episode on the Ford. I might have one more, I'm not sure, but I don't intend to. Like I said, I got to put the center caps back on the wheels. Still forgot to do that. Yeah. I know the owner watches this channel, so if he does see something that I missed or neglected to do, he'll reach out and let me know. So that's a great thing. That's a good thing about me doing the YouTube. You basically got, I don't know. You see what's been done to the car. You see if I missed it. And it's either A, genuine I missed it, or it's B, I haven't got to it yet kind of thing. So that's kind of another reason I like to do the YouTube. But anyway, closing out this episode of my ramblings. If you like this episode, however it came out, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you do, I promise you we will chit chat. As always, thanks for watching, and hopefully see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. And yeah, we're back to Volkswagens again. There's a Beetle behind you, or maybe it's a Type 3. I don't know what's on the schedule, but there is a Beetle behind you.